Sit down and listen while we speak. It's time for us to spill the tea. Tea for you and tea for me. Building a big old family tree. Just us. Tea for two and two for tea. Building a big old family tree. Yeah, yeah. Just us. Yeah. Just us.
And we're back. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Just Us, a conversation with Rodney and Qui. I'm Rodney.
I'm Qui.
So Qui, as everyone can see, there's been a lot that has transpired since the last time we've got together and had a conversation. To me specifically, well, to us specifically. So, yeah, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, we've had quite a bit of an adjustment that we've had to make in our family with your health. And when, one person in the family have a health issue, we all have the health issue.
That's true.
So, yes, it's been a big adjustment, but thank God we are on the mend of healing. Right.
So as most of you have seen, we have, put out a video. If you follow the podcast, we put a video out showing you a latest update of me needing surgery with my left arm here. But what I didn't go into was the backstory of actually what happened that day. So just to fill you guys in just a little bit. So late August, I'm at work, walking to my car in the parking garage downtown Dallas when I black out. I go down very hard on my left side, crashing this left shoulder, dislocating it pretty badly. 4 fractures, tore tendons, and rotator cuff damage. Very, very painful. Slight concussion on the left side and some sprain, my right ankle. Needless to say, I was down, confused, didn't know what was going on. And colleagues, thank God for colleagues at my office, found me, got the paramedics there who eventually got me to the hospital. Long story short, as a result of that, I had to have surgery to repair the left shoulder and all the pain that I was going through. And I'm still in the process of that. Surgery went well. Now I'm in rehab with this, but there's still some other underlying issues that we're dealing with. So we got some things that we're dealing with because the question then is what caused me to go out to begin with. But so that's just a quick synopsis, if you will, of what happened on that day and been dealing with it ever since. But Qui, so how did it, if you can rewind the tape here, how did you get notified and how did you feel and what was going through your mind when you got that phone call?
Well, being probably 20 minutes before all this went down, I just got off the phone with you. We were talking.
Yes.
And you were fine. Everything was fine. We were laughing, kicking. I said, hey, I got to go because my students were coming back to class. And then about, 20 minutes or so, I got a phone call from one of your coworkers saying, hey, we're taking Rodney to the hospital. And so for me, it was kind of a big shock because I'm like, what do you mean? I just hung up with him. What happened? And his coworker really couldn't give me too much information because she didn't really know herself, but she just told me it was serious and I need to hurry up and get to the hospital. So what's going through my mind is I'm in Prosper, Texas, my school. I have to drive all the way to Dallas, Baylor Hospital downtown Dallas. And so that's what, about a 30-40 minute drive where I'm driving down the toll, not knowing what's going on with you, what's your status.
Sure. It's the unknown.
It's the unknown. Everything is kind of going through my mind, but I have to keep calm because I have to get there. Right. So that day was a whirlwind. And of course, I eventually got there. And, that's kind of like how the story began.
Oh, well, sure. And it was, from what I remember, it was, a crazy afternoon, to say the least. Right. Because I can just remember, the voices of my colleagues all around me, but I couldn't really focus on who was there because, once again, I had a concussion. And so I really couldn't, focus on who it was, really couldn't see who it was too much. I just remember hearing some voices I could make out, some I couldn't, as to who they were around me. But they stayed with me the whole time. So I thank God for them. And the fact that they found me in this parking garage, because at the time of day, which was around the lunch hour, is usually pretty empty, and so I'm thankful for that. Thankful for all of the staff and the personnel at Baylor Hospital. Thankful for all those that came to see me or check on me at that time, right? That went and followed us to Baylor Hospital as well, and has been checking on me ever since. But also, I guess there's a silver lining in some of this. Initially, is number one. I guess it's a silver lining and a blessing that I didn't make it in the car because I was in the way to actually drive and go to lunch. And if that would have occurred, I could have possibly blacked out behind the wheel.
Yeah, I mean, you could have passed out, blacked out, whatever, driving, which would have been detrimental to others and yourself.
Absolutely.
So the fact that it happened right as you're getting to your car was really a blessing in disguise. And the blessing of your coworker just so happened to be going, I guess, to lunch or coming back from lunch. I don't know. But the blessing that they did find you because you were really like out of it.
And I don't know how long I had been down when they did come to see about me. But also, I guess, is also a blessing the fact that I hit my shoulder. My shoulder, although it cracked, dislocated. They took 4 clamps to put it back together again, and a lot of repair. But I thank God that my shoulder hit first and not my head, because my head crashing first, with that force, at that philosophy, we could have a different story.
We could. Although your face was pretty bruised because you talking the left side, so his face was still kind of like, scratches and stuff,
it was bruises
and stuff, absolutely. And swollen. However, I mean, I guess you fell right.
if I had to fall, So, but needless to say, since that time, unexpected things can happen to anybody, right? Unexpected medical situations, unexpected trauma could happen to anybody at any given point in time. And so I guess, if it had to happen, it had to happen to me. But I was still fortunate, I guess, in the way that it happened.
Yeah.
Because it could have been a lot worse, affecting a lot more people if I would have actually made it to the car and got behind the wheel.
Yeah.
Of the car. And so I'm this period of time. And so, of course, I have been dealing with this since late August, and finally getting into, the rehab now. So this part is the obvious, right? The physical is the obvious. And then, of course, the bigger question is, okay, what led to it? what's
Yes.
the underlying cause or the underlying issue, and we're still going through some testing for that and medical diagnosis with with that, and we'll take that as it comes. But I guess if there's some lessons to be learned that I learned is, I guess the first lesson was that it's important to have a village.
Oh yeah.
It's
I
so important to have a village of people uh, at work, surrounding you, family, friends, that's there to support you, care for you, and help lift you up.
Absolutely. When we go to work and especially when you've been there for quite a while, right? You've established relationships, your coworkers' families, and you've developed, you know, friendships, if you will, in a lot of cases. That's a family. It's your work family. And so it's important that our work family support us. We support our work family. And I have to say, like you were saying earlier, like your work family has been calling. They have been checking on you. And I mean, that's just a blessing in itself. Not only your work family, my work family too, because
Right.
when I got the call of this incident, all I could do, I had a class full of students looking at me like, what's going on, Miss Patton? Because at this point, they could see my fear in my eyes. And I had to call the office and have someone come. And lo and behold, I hear my principal running to my room to, make sure I'm okay. And when she came in, her whole concern was not, oh, what are you going to do with the kids? Her concern was, get your bag and go check on your husband. Get out of here.
Right.
And so, the village, even at my job, who took care of me during that time, is a blessing to me. And even today, I still have people today that will ask me, how's your husband doing? Is he okay? What's going on? Because I mean, we invest time in we share bonds with our coworkers.
Well, sure. And you spend, for careers that we have, we spend sometimes more time with our coworkers than family.
Yes.
And so you do become that, they do become a sub nucleus of for you. And so it's very important that we have that, that village, if you will,
Right.
of folks looking after one another, because you just never know when something, out the blue can happen. No one expects, a medical emergency. No one expects, trauma to happen. And we have, because not only does it affect the person who directly is dealing with it, but it also affects those around me indirectly as well.
Absolutely.
And everything that you have had to do as a wife, and all the the boys and what they've had to do to help in this situation. Like I said, friends calling and wanting to come over and etc. and calling me from across the state, have been just really really good. And we have been dealing with just so many, it's so much going on. You think, oh, it's just one doctor, and we had to deal with the orthopedic surgeon who's performed the surgery. But then of course my cardiologist, we've had to go to a neurologist, and
endocrinologist.
then an endocrinologist.
Yes.
And so there's a lot more going on than just the obvious. But to still have that support means a lot.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I would say the first lesson in any type of situation is definitely, you got to have a village around you. So that goes back to what building relationships, building and communication with that. And somebody needs to know, if something happens to you, who do you call?
Yeah.
Who do you call? Because you
Absolutely.
say, oh, it's in the file. Well, sometimes you don't have time to get to
the
file.
file. Yeah.
Yeah, so I need someone. Thankfully, someone part of my team was there who could boom, had you on speed dial,
Right.
and could and can make that phone call to you, because by the time I got to the hospital, and I really don't remember too much of the ride to the hospital, but I do remember once I was at the hospital and I look up and I see everybody. It seems like everyone from the office was there, and then you came through the door, and so that means a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when your body is in that fight or flight mode, because your body doesn't know what's going on. I mean, when I
You're
was
in
down,
trauma.
when I was down, I couldn't get up. I didn't know why I couldn't get up. I couldn't get up. I was in incredible amount of pain. Focus, really didn't know what happened and how it happened. And so yeah, it's important to have that village. I would say doing this process, another lesson for me, which I'm thankful for that we do, is it's important to do a self inventory. I would like to say call it a self inventory.
Okay, what does that look like?
So for me, the self inventory was, is my house in order? Is my house in order? Is your house in order? Something should happen, right? Do you have every year? One thing that I'm thankful for that we have done is we always touch base to see, do we need to update any paperwork? Do we need to, is all of our policies still active and in place? Mm-hmm. Nothing has lapsed. Do we need to make any changes to any documents? Do we know, and do our children know, or the important people in our life know where those documents are?
That's
and
important.
They have to get to them in a centralized place and location, because with the correct updated information.
Yeah, I mean, when you are in the midst of emergency or something like that, we don't have time to be trying to find stuff.
Oh,
it's
definitely.
Like, we need to make sure that everything is where it should be, so it'll be easy for anybody to come in and go directly to where that information is, find it, and execute. What I did is I bought those, what do you call those, accordion files,
right?
And the ones that you zip.
Right.
And I made labels.
That's the teacher in you.
It's the so everything has to be organized, right?
That's the teacher. And color coded.
Color coded. Seriously. Like, I wish I could show y'all. You'll be amazed. But I want to make sure that if ever, and I actually did this over the summer. This was like early in the summer when I did this. But I want to make sure that my children know, okay, this is my mortgage file. This is my life insurance file, my power of attorney, all those things. My insurance, my home, my deed to my home, all of those things. I have 2 of them actually, and they're pretty much filled with all the important information. So in the event something happened, they know where to go. They
right.
know the folders, the files to pull.
And that's critical, because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but we both have been in situations before where we're trying to find stuff for family members.
Yes.
We don't know where to look, so we have to basically ransack, other folks' belongings and things, looking for documents and looking for paper and trying to put this puzzle together, because there was no self-inventory.
Yeah.
And no centralized location for these things. And so, and oftentimes we think of this as just a minute point or something very small or something very obvious. Of course we do that. Of course you should do that. But you really don't know how important it is until something happens.
And sometimes people just don't want people in their business. But especially like if you're single, you need to have somebody you trust in your business. Let
Absolutely.
them know, like, this is what all my important, pertinent information is located. Even as a married couple, my sons, they know where to go.
Right.
Right. So, they can be equipped to make decisions that they need to make for the family.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, having a plan that everybody knows about, and like you said, making sure everything is updated. I mean, this is a yearly thing we do. We go in, we make sure, I even created like a spreadsheet of all of our bills, account numbers for those bills, addresses and phone numbers of where they can, contact, when it's due, how much we pay. It's a serious spreadsheet because there is everything from the yard man,
everything is itemized
all the way to my mortgage.
Right.
So they know, okay, who's going to continue to cut the grass? Well, this is my yard man. All I have to do is call him. This is his phone number, right? This is how much I pay every other week or whatever. They know everything they need to know, right? To make sure that the house can still move forward. To make sure they are equipped with the information they need to move forward.
Yeah, sure. Because you never know how big or small the issue could be, right? Mm-hmm. Could you be in the hospital for weeks? Could you be in the hospital for months? Could you be off of work for weeks? Or could you be out of work for months? And so it's always good to do a self-inventory, so to be prepared for the things that could just happen out the blue. Yeah. And sometimes I think we overlook it or we don't think about it. But that's how we, get in trouble, is not being prepared. Yeah. So I think good, thank God that we were prepared in that sense, because it could happen to anybody at any time, on a small scale or on a much larger scale. But also during this time for me, because it's been a lot of, reflection for me. It's been a lot of feeling isolated, even though I haven't been isolated. You've been with me the whole time, but just me being inside my head, right? Because I couldn't go to work. I can't pick up things. I'm on restrictions, hospital medical restrictions.
And Qui restrictions.
And Qui restrictions, because she's not letting me do anything. And so then, I start thinking about, oh man, for me, my thought process is I'm thinking and planning always ahead of what I got to do next. Mm-hmm. What I got to do next, where I need to be, what needs to get done, what I haven't done. Oh, let me circle back, check my list again. And that's just how I operate. That's just how I'm wired. I'm thinking about what I got to do, not only for tomorrow, but the next 3 tomorrows, the next week or the next week after that. And so, but in this situation, I came to realize that a lot of things are just, in a situation like this, it's just out of my control. There's nothing I can do. And so I have to go with the flow. And for some of us, that's hard to do. It's hard to let go. I'm used to being able to be in control and dictate as to what needs to get done, how it needs to get done. At work, I got to do A, B, and C. I need this person to do A, B, and C. I got to be here, there, and the other. But in this situation, what do you do?
Well, you said the key word. You are not in control. Things will happen that we have no control over. And for somebody like me who believe that I am the control police, the reality of it is I'm not. I have no control over things that happen in our lives. There's some things that I can do to kind of help, I guess kind of not go so far, or to kind of prevent some things, I guess, in some cases. But the reality of it is, especially dealing with our health, we have no control. You never know what could happen. Okay. And I want to say that when we don't have control, then that's the time when we have to just, reflect on who does have control.
I was just about to say that. That's when, for me, it was, okay, now faith kicks in.
Right.
Right. And then we turn to God, and God, you have all authority. You have all control. And wherever this road is leading or guiding or whatever's on the other end of this tunnel, I know you're going to be there. You're going to be
He's
there
already
before
there.
me. You've already made a pathway for me. And I hold true to that, and I lean into that because, a lot of times if you're like me and you're planning and you're thinking about what has to get done and what you have to do to make it happen, when that's stripped away, right, it's easy to fall into a dark hole. It's
Yeah.
easy to go into a dark place. And if you don't have someone around you helping lifting your spirits like you and the boys, if and all the friends that's been calling and texting, if I didn't have that, it would be very easy to go down that dark rabbit hole. But being a man of faith and knowing who I am and whose I am, I have to lean in to that faith.
And the thing about it is, when you're down, it is easy to fall into that despair, that hopelessness, why me kind of situation. But like you said, that's when the power of family, unity, community come in.
Right.
It is
Absolutely.
important to have someone in your ear that can tell you, even though the road is rough and it may look dark, there is still hope. There is still the other side of this that you will get to. Don't give up, because
Right.
that's what the devil wants us to do. He wants us to give up, throw in the towel, because it's showing him that we're not dependent and leaning on God. We don't believe in what the Lord says, but we know different. So my job as your wife is to make sure that you're fine, you're good, you're covered. There is nothing that could happen in this world that God will take his hands off of you from.
Absolutely.
So-
Absolutely. There's nothing too big, nothing too small for my God. And this has allowed me to just reflect a little bit deeper, right? Because it's very easy to get caught up in everything else. Work, the kids, what they got going on, what we got going on, but to sit back and just have a time to do some self-reflection, to spend that quality time in prayer, to spend that quality time leaning in more to the Word of God and leaning a little bit more into what His plan is for you, right? That turns the dark days around. So I think all of those things have been critical during these last 2 months or whatever for me. And don't get me wrong, I know that there are folks out there that are dealing with far worse things, and even more serious medical concerns and issues than little old me, right? And for me, it's not only the obvious of what is known, right, what you see, but it's also the unknown of what's to come, right? Because there's a lot of unknowns that's still there that we haven't gotten to yet. But even then, I am trusting that God has already worked it out.
Absolutely.
I'm trusting that it's already worked out in our favor, whatever that may be. And we will deal with it and tackle it head on. I guess the last thing, or one of the last lessons that, during these 2 months that I've learned is, number one is, we have to be consistency in our mental and physical health.
Yeah.
Right. Because two things that we get, but you can never get back is time and your health.
Yes.
Once your health goes,
right,
it's a slippery slope trying to get, pull it back.
Yeah.
Right. And time, you can never get time back.
Yeah.
Right. So time is precious, and we can't waste time on not being productive.
Right. Using our time wisely and, spending it with those who you love and finding, the joy and something new every day
Right.
that you're blessed with.
And being physically active, right? I think we both have done, if you guys have followed me and been following us on social media, you know that we have lost quite a bit of weight between both of us, right?
Yes.
And we have been doing a fairly decent job in our physical activity, but we can do a lot better job.
Sure.
And lost a tremendous amount of weight, and we start thinking, oh, we're good. But it's so much more that goes with that, right? Making sure that we're consistent with what? Our diet.
Yeah.
Making sure that we're consistent and keeping moving, right?
Keep
A body
moving.
in motion stays in motion is a whole lot more productive and healthier than someone who's just stagnant.
Sedentary.
Right.
That's dangerous.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Not only for that, but it relieves so much stress, which also affects your mental health, your physical health, and being consistent in not only your activity physically, but being consistent with your activity spiritually.
Yes.
And your connection with God and your time that you spend with God, which also helps your mental health and your mental outlook and attitude.
Absolutely. I was sharing with you yesterday, with not only with him going through what he went through, but the pressure and stress and worry for me was great. And I had to kind of suppress that because I had to, make sure you were okay.
Right.
So my own physical, mental, and health journey was being attacked as well.
Right.
Because
You're holding everything in.
I'm holding everything in. I got to keep it together because I got to get you well and back where you need to be. And then I'm watching you in your mental capacity, like something is going on. So I have to make sure you're good. But at the same time, I was like not really checking in on my own self.
Right.
And so I had to come up with some realization as well because my health I started seeing some things going on. And, I was telling you yesterday, I say, it's kind of like with me, just walking, it's like a stress reliever for me.
Well, sure.
Even if it's 30 minutes, it just, I don't know. It's like it releases endorphins and
it helps you escape.
It helps you escape. I put on my little headphones and I'm listening to music or watching a show or whatever. But it helps you physically and mentally. And I look at that part. Of course, when you taking medications, you're taking your medications like you're supposed to, right? But physical exercise is also a medication. It's just not a pill you're swallowing, but it's something that you're doing for your body.
Right.
It should be a daily dose of something, whether it's taking a hula hoop or jump rope, right? Or walking or dancing or whatever your thing is for 15, 20, 30 minutes, right? We need to take
some
that
sort of physical
serious.
activity.
Some type of physical activity. Take it serious and implement it in your life, just like you do your pills that you take every day.
Yeah, and be consistent with it.
Yeah.
Consistency is the key to all of it, for sure. Consistent with your diet, consistent with your activity, consistent with your spiritual walk, consistent with the time that you spend with God and prayer, your prayer life. Just all of that makes you who you are, a complete person.
Absolutely.
And who you are. So this journey is continuing for me, for us, of course. And but there's light at the end of the tunnel. I'm still, working on strengthening this arm and strengthening, getting rotation, full rotation back, and being able to make certain movements and of course carry weight with it, and that's going to come. I have faith that all of that's going to come, and all of the underlying possibilities will also be resolved as well, because I put all of that into God's hands.
Absolutely,
And
because
so
we speak in healing.
He's gonna turn it around.
It's already done.
Right. It's done. Yes, I like that phrase. Done.
It's done.
It is done. So so that's where we walk. So, but we wanted to come and just share with you guys, give you guys an update. I know there's a video that we're going to load of the surgery prep, and you see me getting that day of and getting ready for that. And so we'll keep you updated and informed on this journey. Because that's what life is. Every day is a new journey, and you never know what can happen. But the question is, are you prepared for the journey?
Will you be ready? Because the thing is, the journey is going to come.
It's going to come. And let me say this here before we close out, that, Qui, if you follow me on social media, I give my wife her flowers. I believe in propping my wife and giving her flowers. And so I say thank you for all that you have done for this time. And I know you're saying, some of you out there saying, well, that's what she's supposed to do. And that's what, listen, everybody marriage is different, and I don't want to get into that, and that's a whole different conversation as to whether or not, when they say for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health, and we don't know what that means, and we take it for granted until it happens.
Yes.
And that's when you really can see those vows in action.
Yes.
And you have been wonderful. You have been great. You have been better than me, than I can probably be better to myself. And so I thank you for everything that you've done and always do. And I wouldn't change you for anything in the world. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too.
And I love you for that. And so you guys are my witnesses to that as well. But we're going to keep you updated. We're going to keep moving forward. And that's all we got for today, guys. So until next time,
be blessed.